So my friend asked me how did I learn how to speak Spanish. I told him that I use SpanishPod.com, but looking at this site, it seems like it's no longer active. It seems that this is just an image. None of these buttons work because it's just an image, but I really wanted the content because it was so good. So I thought about going to the Internet Archive. Going to the Wayback Machine, the Internet Archive, I found a Spanish Pod archive. Going here, I saw that there was over 17,147 files. Awesome. I click on Show All. Okay, now I'm here. I can see that they have the PDF, the MP3, the OGG, the PNG files. Awesome. There is also the size of each one, and I can download each one of these. But I don't want to download each one of these by hand, so how can I do this? Well, I can use Python, specifically Beautiful Soup. Let's open up our IDE and start coding. Okay, so now I'm in my IDE. I'm going to just name it get Spanish pod files.py. So now first thing I need to do is import requests. This will allow me to interact with HTTP. Then I'll do from BS4 import beautiful soup. And I'll make a variable called URL, and I'll just put the URL of the actual Internet Archive. So it'll be archive.org/download. So this is the URL where all the files are located. Next thing I can do is I'll put a variable for all the requests on the page that I'm going to actually need. So I'll just do requests.get, and so this will get the URL, and then I'll do soup. This is what actually will scrape the web web page. So we'll do text. We'll do HTML parser. Okay, so now let's make a list where we will store all of the links from the page. Okay, so now we'll just loop over all the links that we'll get from this web parser. So we'll just do for link and soup dot find all, and we're just looking for the anchor tags. At this point, let's just go ahead and append them to the list. So what we'll do is we'll create a new variable. It's called L. We'll say link.get, and we're just looking for the href. And we'll just print out all of the links. Okay, let's go ahead and run this. We'll do Python and get Spanish pod files. Now, it'll take a little bit to run because, again, it's going to be over 17,000 files. Oh, okay, so it ran, but apparently I forgot to append it to the list. So we'll just do L or links.append, and we'll just do L. Now let's go ahead and run it. All right, perfect. So now we have all of the href from the page. Now let's go to the top and let's just take a look at the data. There's a lot of data here. Okay, so one thing that apparently that I'm seeing right now is that some of these links have a / afterwards. And so like this zip file here has a /, and there's also some file names in here that we don't need. We only really want, or at least I only want, the PDFs, the MP3s, the OGGs, everything that I actually need. So let's modify this and then the script, and let's go ahead and download the data. So what I'll do is I also noticed that the object none is part of this list. So what I'll do is I'll say if L is not none and the length of the link is not equal to 0 because I've noticed that some of these are is an empty href, and the length is greater than 11. All right. Actually, let's clear this. All right, and we'll just bring that down. All right. So if it's greater than 11, what I also notice is that, again, we only want some of the file names. So what I'll do, or some of the files and not everything. So all I'll do is say if sample is equal to, I only want the objects that says Spanish pod. So I'll say if sample is equal to Spanish pod. So what I do is I'll get part of the link and just make sure that it's Spanish pod, not sample pod, but Spanish pod. So if the sample, if I grab the link and I just look at the first between 0 and 10 characters, if that is equal to Spanish pod, then what I'll do is I can append it to the list, as well as I can go ahead and format the URL to actually download it. And actually, at this point, I don't even need to append it to a list because I saw the items that I needed. So we can actually get rid of this. And if you notice, if we go back, you notice that the links didn't have an href to it. And if I look at the site, if I go ahead and inspect the elements, I don't have the entire, see, if I hover over it, you see that it says https:// and it gives the entire URL, but the actual href is just going directly to the file itself. So what I'll need to do is formulate the URL to be the entire fully qualified domain name. So that is it. And so I'll just do the actual string, then dot format, and then I'll just put the actual, what we get from the href, which is just the file name. And then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and grab the contents from that URL. I can do that just by doing request.url and then URL. Okay. The next thing I will need to do is, as I made mention, you can see that some of these has a / afterwards. So when I download that, I can just leave the name of the file. That's L. But the problem is that if there's a / afterwards, it won't be able to save that as a file name. So I'll have to give it a new name, and I'll just call it name. And this will be the name that it will download to. And I'll say name equals L. And I say if name, I just want to look at the last character and see if it's equals to a / or / rather. If it's equal to a / let's just go ahead and remove that / and I can do that by starting at the beginning of the string and just do -1. So this string, this right here, just says start at the very start of the string, and then get all the contents except for the last character. All right, and then I say with open. Now we're going to save the file, and I say with open name WB as F, which just stands for the file itself. Then we're going to go ahead and write it to the file system, and we do that by f.write. And we'll do r.content. Okay, that should work. So let's go ahead and clear out everything, and let's go ahead and run that file. Now, because I'm not printing anything, I'm not going to know if anything is there unless I look at the folder. But let's go ahead and print just so that way we know that it's working. We'll print the name here. But right here it says that on line number 17, it says request has no attributes. Oh, this is supposed to be get. Okay. All right. So we're just going to print the name just so that we know that it is going to write to the file system. Let's go ahead and run it. And because there are over 17,000 files, it'll take a moment. But you can see that it's starting to save, and you can see that it's starting to write to the file system. So this is working. It's going to grab all the contents. It grabs the PDFs, everything. This is working beautifully. Now, I'll go ahead and stop this. Now, I did this already before I recorded the video. Because there were over 17,000 files, it turns out it was the actual contents were over 20 gigs. So it took all night, and it was done in the morning. But this video just showed how easy it is to create a web scraper using Beautiful Soup and using Internet Archive. So hopefully you had some fun, and maybe you can use this code later to download some content in the future. Take care.